So welcome again, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. I'm honored to have you. Some of those panelists here, I know them like, shall I say the years? Funny, 20. Let's put it this way. Thank you, Morten, for coming here to Greece from the lovely Tromsø. I have been there. It's wonderful. God bless this place. Ewan, thank you very much for joining. Today, you owe me a surprise. You owe me a surprise. Katerina, it's my honor, again, for being here and you to join this panel. Mr. Georgiou, thank you. You're a very good colleague. We have been working together as a group of companies. Thank you. And of course, Dimitris, thank you very much. Now, after saying all these nice words for our panelists, I would like to state the following, why we have gathered here. We have been gathered here because, as we have said it before, digitization in the shipping industry is inevitable, correct? The whole business world is being transformed by new technologies in particular, and with no exception. Shipping is in this world, and we're very happy about it. These are many reasons for this digital revolution to happen, but mainly it's because of the several benefits of it. This is precisely why we want to share with you this evening. But before we start, we have to say a few words about who is each one of those people here. So it's Accenture, the company Mr. Georgiou, an innovative technology company offering, he has been worked closely to the shipping industry from the past, right? And now you are redesigning their operating models, right? And processes, of course. And you are reducing their operating expenses. Very interesting approach. I like this. You have to elaborate a bit further about that. Now, Mr. Kontinos is a managing partner of CloudFin, right? And you are an innovative technology company offering financial processes and automation, correct? And the past 20 years, you have been dealing with the shipping industry as well as... Great. Great. So, Morten, you re-own a company. It's been based in Tromsø, Oslo, in Norway. And you are delivering innovations at sea with passion, of course. And thank you very much for that. We have been seeing your products in the market so many years now. You have an international experience on the shipping industry. And you, of course, in maritime communications. And your solutions are on board in 4,000 vessels? Wow. Wow. Katerina? You are part of the most known shipping company in this planet, let's say. A seaborne one, right? You're also a former president of Amitech, as far as I know, the past years. And of course, you are in the shipping industry the past 20 plus.
20.
20.
I was at the elementary school for then. So,
so Ewan, the best for the last.
Thank you very much.
20 years experience as well, and the maritime industry, and not only. You are one of the most important parts, and you have been direct involved end-to-end with the maritime ships on board and shoreside, correct?
Correct. I started off as working on board ships And now I don't. I just visit them.
I just visit. Okay. So today we would like to discuss about digitization, and we would like to discuss about transformation. So I will start with a generic question, but very important. Costa, please explain us, what is this digital tsunami?
Thank you, Eirini. First of all, I would like to say that every company is a digital company and should be a digital company.
Of course.
And what we mean by that is, of course, we need to see how to apply it to real life, but by design, we need to take advantage of what technology has to offer. In that sense, we need to see it collectively. We need to understand why it is important and how we can fit it to our everyday jobs so that we can take advantage of digitization. There are many benefits. We just need to have a good strategy and to be ready to go to the next level.
Of course, but give me an example. I don't understand. I'm a seaborn lady. I have been working in telecoms. I know technology, but I'm not an expert. So can you elaborate a bit further?
I can give you two examples from companies outside the shipping industry, but I believe they are representative of my point. Who remembers Kodak?
Kodak? Raise your hand, please.
Where is Kodak now?
You just betrayed your age now, huh? You know that.
So, Kodak filed for bankruptcy 3-4 years ago. On the other hand, we see UberX, Airbnb, SpaceX, companies that never existed. They are one of the most valuable companies all over the world, and some of them don't even own assets.
You're absolutely
so they
right.
have disrupted the way we know businesses and the way we operate. So
You're
things are
absolutely
changing.
right. But may I ask something? Katerina. I would like to ask you, if somebody comes in your office and tell you that I will digitize everything, you're going to feel the tsunami coming in your face?
Of course. I feel it already, and there is no doubt in this, that the tsunami is coming either we want it or not. The thing is, and this is, I believe, the best bet for each shipping company, is every company ready to accept this tsunami, to embark this ship of digital transformation? Because on one hand, I believe that we have an oxymoron here. On one hand, we have the technology, the technological tsunami that is coming. And on the other hand, some companies, like the example that was just mentioned, like Kodak and several others, Nokia, BlackBerry, Agfa, Xerox, I'm not saying that they disappeared, but they are not in the top line any longer because they were not ready to accept the tsunami. And this does not mean that they were not ready to invest. It's not just a matter of investment. Their culture and their internal procedures were not ready to adapt to the digital tsunami. So this is, to me, this is the best bet that one shipping company can have at this point, on one hand. And on the other hand, having embraced and adopted all these transformations of the digital tsunami, to be able to stay on top of technology and be secure. Because on one hand, we depend more and more on technology and we become more digitalized. And on the other hand, the more we depend, the more exposed we are. And this is a huge threat.
You touch a sensitive spot. You just say the nice word, security.
It's late.
I know. Security.
Watch out. What topics you touch.
Hot potatoes. So, security. Okay, Morten. How we, as a shipping company, can secure our platforms, how we can protect our data, how can prevent our devices to be harmed from somebody or a malware software thing. Explain to us from the ship side to the shore, since you had a great presentation and everybody understood what exactly Dualog is offering in the market.
Okay, I don't think I will explain the details, but I think the thing about security is it starts with awareness, because when you sent a telex or a simple email, there wasn't much of a threat. So the threat comes with internet, and as I mentioned, internet is around now, and then you need to protect your ships just like you do with your office or your branches. So I don't think it takes a lot. The technology is there. You're never 100% protected. You can only be as much protected as you're able to be.
Sure.
And that goes for the shore side. So I think that's probably my big message. You need to include your ships in the thinking. You have to realize that the ships now are on the internet, and that's the main thing with security. So I think that if the awareness is there and you realize that your ship is a part of the infrastructure, I think that's a very, very good start. On the other hand, I know that when I speak to people, of course, if I ask someone to raise their hand here and say, have they ever had a ransom attacks, they never will come a hand up. But if I meet people one by one in a bar, it's a different story. So everyone knows what a ransom attack costs. So at least there's nothing to save of money by not investing into security. That's for sure.
Okay, awareness, right? Awareness. Costas, awareness. Okay, I'm aware that I might be threatened by somewhere in the public. And somebody is coming and says, okay, I will make you safe. Explain to me this digital safety net, how we do it, how this digital start, and how we transform, how we conclude, and what to consult, who we consult, and why we should be consulted by someone.
First of all, we need to understand that this is a journey. So there's no just we design something secure and we forget it. It is something that we need to pass on to our employees, to our everyday lives. This has to be something on and on working together. In that sense, we need to understand the value chain of a shipping company, starting from the vessels, as you said, but also from the office. And we need to be able to secure every vulnerable point. Having said that, we need to appoint people responsible for security, and we need to invest. Other than that, I think there are companies, as you said, Accenture can support in that sense. Definitely, it is something that we don't forget. We need to put it in our everyday lives. We need to train people, we need to secure our infrastructure, and we need to be ready. Cyber attacks and cyber terrorists are very organized. You would be surprised how organized they are and how much time they spend in order to do that. So it's another business.
Of course it is. Now, okay, tricky question. I'm an IT person, like Katerina, she's very aware about IT things, but my accounting department has nothing to do with IT. They are receiving expenses or they're collecting money. Explain to me, Dimitris, really, in what way shipping companies can minimize their costs, grow their revenue and profitability, of course, via digital tools, and how they will be protected security-wise.
Okay, first of all, when we're talking about digitization, there is an ongoing discussion regarding new technologies such as AI and blockchain, but to my point of view, we must focus on applicability. We need to ask ourselves, how will digitization and technology help me solve real-life problems, accounting department problems, operational problems? So how can I minimize workloads? For example, we can use AI in order to achieve process automation. So we can easily help the accounting department.
AI? You said AI,
Correct.
right? How many of you knows about AI?
Yep.
Raise your hand, please. Do you believe that AI provides you value information? Right, one. At least two. Yes. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. Yes, we have a lot of report here. Yes. Go on. They know about AI, but can you please explain to me a bit further?
It's not about buzzwords. That's what I'm saying. It's not
Okay.
about talking about AI or blockchain or all of this stuff. It's about talking about solutions, about applicability of technologies into my everyday life in the office.
Okay.
So what we can do is that we can use digitization in order to fully automate my processes. Let's say I'm an accounting department in a company and I receive numerous documents of invoices, board expenses, supplies, etc. every day. At the moment, there is a person that has to stand in front of a computer and data enter every information given in those documents.
Okay.
So new technologies and digitization will help us fully automate this process through smart engines that are able to identify every information inside any document, process it, and then data enter everything into my backend system without having to work numerous hours to do so.
And lead us to where? Why the ship owner has to spend a fortune to do that?
Well, first of all, the actual IT spending in adopting these kind of technologies, I would say it's not really expensive.
Are we having a break?
Secondly, what we achieve having those solutions is that we get to minimize the time frame in which the company is able to receive information, store it inside its systems, and analyze it. And minimize costs and errors.
Okay, another question, Katerina. One of the things that I always had as a question is how data are important for a shipping company.
It's the most valuable asset that we have at this point.
Really?
Consider, for example, that until recently, what we had in our computers was some Excel spreadsheets, some databases at best, and we were able to produce some meaningful reports to the management, with some information to the management, only from this data that would go, let's say, to the gates back in time, and we could process the data of our 200 vessels. Now, with the so-called big data and the tools that we have in hand, the data analytics, we can process, I would say, hundreds of millions of data, not only from our company, but anonymous data from throughout the world, throughout the planet, from any source that can produce data. Imagine the value out of this. Imagine how accurate this information can be, and not only to go back and produce historical reports, but also to model the future. This is a very critical driver to the digitization. You can model through AI the future. You don't need to program a model, an accurate model, but through the data, you can let the model build itself. This is AI. You see how the hull of the vessel moves at sea. You don't need to be an architect or a naval architect, an engineer, to know the details. You monitor the data for a long period of time, and you build the normal behavior only by the data. And then you see abnormalities if there is a deviation from this model which has built itself.
You learn.
You learn.
Every day you learn, but you learn not in a hard way, in an easy way. So I'll pass the ball to Ewan here. Ewan, please elaborate a bit more about data. Data on board, data on the shore side.
All the data that we have is critical. It may not mean anything, but its actual existence is critical to the way that we view all of the other pieces of data. One block leads to another. So we build our whole models and the way that we view our realities out of the little bits of data that we receive. So these are all critical. And on that, those informations lead us to the conclusions that we need, either in business, in the operation of the vessel, or in the way in which it will conduct itself.
Okay, and for example, how fragile is our data? You laugh.
Data can be very fragile. Data is, it's an ephemeral thing. It's there, but it's not there. You have to protect it and look after it, whilst not actually knowing where it is sometimes. It needs to be looked after in a multiple of ways, because otherwise bad things happen.
Okay, Katerina, do you believe that somebody can harm your data?
Absolutely.
Yes, anytime.
Anytime. Okay, the data, we all agree that it must be somewhere very well secured.
Okay.
We know that there is no 100% secure location or secure system. There is always a small percentage that will lead to the disaster. All companies, all humans are as weak as their weakest point. So you might have the best system in place, the best. You might have invested millions of dollars, and one human mistake can ruin everything. And I'll give an example here. It's like trying to secure your house. You build very thick and strong walls. You have security doors. You have an alarm system. You have CCTV. You get a dog, 2 dogs, and then you open the door wide open to the man that comes and claims that he's from the power company and wants to read your counters. This is what happens with the human factor.
I love the example, I love it. But anyway, I need your audience, I need my audience here. How many of you believe that your data are secure? How many? None. So you believe that even though you have the best security engines in your company, still there is a threat out there, and you're not ready about it, right? No objection. Either you have no clue what we're talking about, or you absolutely understand what I'm stating right now. Right. I will challenge someone here to tell me how easy or difficult it is to hack data lively. So please, go for it.
Go.
We will hack lively a VSAT antenna on board a vessel, which is in the middle of somewhere, just like this. Lively. We will have control of the communications of the vessel. It's like me having control of your house communication, your landline. your alarm, your everything. I might be able to see your camera in your house through my connectivity. I might be able to trace your passwords when you get in your house through this. Ewan, challenge us.
I've already done it.
Really? You're in?
There we are.
Okay, explain us what you have done.
Where everybody tries to catch this ephemeral data, there are systems out there that collect this ephemeral data. If I can just go back to the first screen, this is an awesome website. This will investigate and categorize everything it connects to on the internet. And it stores it. You can then search it. It will tell you where an antenna is, for this example. You can then connect to that antenna, and unfortunately, defense in depth doesn't exist here because they have the default username and password. We are now sat in this antenna in the system on board this vessel. We can see the latitude and longitude. I took the liberty this morning of plotting it. He's sat in the middle of the Red Sea.
Good Lord. Katerina, please share with us what will happen if, based on your experience, a ship-owning company has that incident.
Okay, let's put it this way. If you go and ask, and no offense, gentlemen, if you go and ask a ship owner what will happen if the ship gets attacked by a cyber attack, they will probably say, oh, no, not big deal. We will switch to manual methods. We will do navigation by putting one shift board and one starboard and blah, blah, blah. We will look at the stars to do the navigation. It's not like this. Remember that apart from all other functions that a ship has, it is a weak element in the company's network. So potentially, let's say, for example, there is a hacking of the onboard systems. Potentially from the vessel, anyone can easily go to the office. And then I don't think I need to explain further what will happen. But let's stay on board for a little. Navigation. Let's suppose that the ECDIS systems are affected. That instead of showing the what sea
communication antenna,
Where's the Red Sea?
The Red Sea, instead of showing the vessel's position and route at the Red Sea, you see some other sea.
Exactly.
Or even worse, some mountain.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Then you will create an...
The radar is affected, everything is affected. And then, of course, it's science fiction, I cannot predict. I mean, it's so easy to build a scenario from now on.
It's really scary what will happen, but Morten, I would like your input here. If that happened, and ECDIS is being affected by a hacker, or the communication antenna that we sat is being affected, and the communication pipeline is relying upon the hacker system, do you believe, after this incident, based on your experience, that the ship owner or the shipping company will improve the systems and the security nets, will invest in infrastructure, they will go along with the new regulations and protect their own product, which is the vessel, or not?
Well, to put it this way, they tend to go along with regulations, and there are regulations coming by 2021 on security, or recommendations or recommendaries. So I guess that will happen. But what Ewan showed, if I understood you correctly, was kind of standard password and standard username, which is very, very common. So I don't think that it will overnight. As I said, there are much, much, much more incidents than is reported, especially I know on ransomware. So most ship owners, if they're in here, have paid ransomware. That's my statement.
Kostas, please.
First of all, I agree with you. Second, I would say that if we find ourselves at this place, it's already too late. I mean, if we get attacked
Totally
and we get to that situation, I think we have lost the game. So the earlier we begin, the better for us. So for sure, if they get attacked, they are going to invest more in security, but let's don't get into that.
Please, can you share with us an example of a ship-owning company? Because examples are easy to digest and to understand. A Greek ship-owning company, or even a company from abroad that put themselves in this digital transformation journey, and what they have achieved nowadays. Accenture was by their side, and how yourselves assist them, support them, to end up to this great conclusion.
Coming to digital transformation, I think a company has to understand what is its strategy and where they want to go. So that's the first thing. So we need to understand where we want to go, and then we need to understand which areas, which are the main pain points that we need to invest in. Having said that, we need to design the technology, we need to understand what are the processes supporting, and we need to understand how we can get there. So that's the point. We don't need to do a big bang, put a lot of investment, do everything, disrupt everyday operations, IT running around. No, we need to be thoughtful of what we get. We need, to, of course, to know where we want to go, but take it step by step. Quick
So no kangaroo jumps.
No.
We Definitely go from A to B, B to C, blah, 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 like my daughter. Huh?
Exactly.
Great. So, Katerina, you are my lady, you know that. So please share with us an experience that Navios has faced in the past in respect of a digital journey, how you started and how it ended up, and what was the return for your company? What was the return for your own colleagues, employees, or even mates that were in other departments away from the headquarters in Piraeus?
Well, for a company like Navios, with so many ships, there is no alternative. Either you go with the digital transformation or you die. You have no alternative. So you need to become competitive to stay on top of the competition. This is why you need to adapt the latest technologies in shipping, on board the ships, in your office, your ERP software, other peripheral softwares, data analytics, all this for the same target, to gain competitive advantage against your other competitors. Okay.
Of course.
And I will give a very short, very brief example from my experience in Navios. Let's start with the traditional ERP systems that we have adopted years ago. With huge, the IT department, along with the management, were struggling to convince people to adopt these processes through the ERP system in every function of their day-to-day work. And luckily, we had by our side a very good software provider who not only had a good product, okay, this is something that goes without saying that we would pick a very good product, but also they know the business very well, and they were able to stand by our side and guide us throughout this whole journey. This is really important because this way you take full advantage of every function that the software offers. It is very common that the company adopts, buys a software package, and it stays on the shelf for years. Exactly. You use 10% of its capabilities, And the rest, you don't even know that exists. You don't even know the reports that exist, or maybe you want to ask for something more that can be developed by the provider as an add-on, as a customization. And this is something that needs constant work. Where is the competitive advantage here? Is that in such a market that we all know what is going on, especially the last days, you can still find areas where you can make extra profit by taking advantage economies of scale, being able to see, for example, the procurement as a process for the entire fleet and not only for every single vessel and every single port call, fuel economies, human resources, take advantage of your personnel in a better way. So many stories that one can say.
Thank you very much. Ewan, do you believe the ship-owning companies should create a framework of an ecosystem on board their vessels and on shore side, based on your experience?
On my experience, in order to control the data and the way people are using the systems on board, they must have some sort of system developed that will fit their model. That has to be incorporated along the lines of a remote office, which can then be connected back to the head office so that the data interchange can occur. But it needs to be done in a very structured way. And shipping it's very good at adapting to the new technologies. And it will this time. We did when we switched from coal to oil because we saw the advantages.
Exactly.
We've seen the advantages in the communications in the last 30, 40 years. And now that is accelerating. So we are encompassing all that we have as tools available to us that we can adapt to bring into the industry, which is one of the great strengths of the industry.
Okay, now the $1 billion question. Do you believe, and I would like to share this with my audience here, technology might replace manpower or will leverage? I need your thought, guys. Do you believe that technology will take out your jobs? It's very important. Who believes that? Who believes that technology would take out our jobs? You? Okay. Who else? Okay. Three people. Okay, 3 people.
I'm a technologist. It won't take my job.
Somebody will hire you, I'm sure. You know how to hack. We like you. Anyway, don't dare. Come over. So, 3 people from the audience raised their hand, stating that technology will take our jobs. Please.
Can I
Yes,
can I answer, please? I have two issues to mention. First of all, I agree with you in the sense that if we don't adapt, yes, technology is going to take our jobs, definitely. On the other hand, technology is here to help us, as you said. So imagine, for example, 50 or 40 years ago, there was a man at the elevators pushing the button, asking you where to go. You got to go, sir, 3rd floor. He pushed the button of the 3rd floor. Is there any value adding? No.
No.
I guess. So we need to adapt. Things change. We never discussed about the guy who pushed the button or the lady who pushed the button. We just learned how to use it. So it's here. We need to adapt. That's my point.
Please.
To my point of view, I think technology will transform our jobs. I don't believe that, let's say, having big data and deep learning will replace the actual person in charge of making decisions. I do believe, though, that it will facilitate his job and it will help him make better decisions faster. So, like mentioned before, will technology replace your job? It depends. To my point of view, the answer is it depends. If your job is completely based on trivial operations, yes, you have to be educated. You have to transform. If your job is decision making, then I believe that technology is only here to help you.
To support you. Yeah. To support your decision to make it more quickly. Katerina, please.
Same. Okay, I agree with everything that has been said. Technology will be an enabler, and whoever does not adapt quickly will definitely stay out of work. And this is also a bet for our country, for the education system of our country.
Exactly.
If we still continue producing, let's say, obsolete or traditional skills, yes, we will bring a new generation that will be unable to adapt technology. If we don't facilitate this revolution, then it will be us to blame. We need to guide our children into this direction, at least to be ready to adopt technology, not to be pioneers. They don't have to be pioneers, all of them, but they must be ready, they must be aware. It is very sad that a very large percentage of young people below 25, they don't know how to protect themselves. They still go and give out their passwords. They share their personal details with everyone. They open all the attachments. It's tragic. We are 50-something, I'm 55. I believe I know how to protect myself, and again, I'm still doing mistakes. I have clicked on the wrong button several times.
Of course. May I remind those 3 people that raised their hands that because of technology, us here in Greece, we have inhabitants in islands, and we are doing telemedicine for those people that they need help. Let's inform those people here that raised their hands that technology is saving lives. Yes, it's not going to take our job away. We'll leverage our job.
It's taken shops. There's countless industries that technology's taken.
We can argue till next morning. I swear God. I'm very energetic on that.
Me too.
But now I have eaten up 2 minutes the time, and I have to apologize for the next session panel. I would like to thank you all for being here. I had the great panelists in this room. Welcome, and we leave you, and we love you, all of you. Bye-bye.
You were great, Eirini, by the way.